Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you're doing really well. So, as I promised, oh my god, I've just forgot to put my rings on. Wait, I look really weird. Tell immediately that something was wrong there. Okay, let's try that again. As promised, I'm going to be doing my smudge proof, sweat proof, London Underground proof, crying proof makeup tutorial. Going into London today, so this is going to be the ultimate test. This is very tried and tested. This has seen me through many a London day and night out. It literally does not budge, trust me. I'm actually loving this little spotty top. I feel very cute and demure. They're out of the way. I got my hair cut and I'm so in love with it again. Please, can everyone just not let me grow my hair an inch? I was feeling gross for a really long time and I couldn't figure out why, and then I cut my hair off and I was like, oh, everything's fine. So starting with primer, I'm actually going to do a mixture, kind of hybrid situation, because I do think when it comes to really specifically thinking about your base, every area of your face probably does need something different. So if you really want to go into it, using different products in different places does really work. I understand it's a little bit more work, but if you want something that's really going to last, especially if it's like wedding makeup or an event that you really need stuff to not move, it is worth taking the extra little bit of time. So the mixture of these two have been really working. Not mixed together, but different areas, different points of the face. It's the Benefit Professional Matte Primer. This is the reformulated one. I used this a few videos back and it is just gorgeous. It's nowhere near as thick as the original. It doesn't feel as like clayey. It's a little bit more soft. Anywhere that my makeup tries to move, usually I get a little bit oily throughout the day. This tends to be the T-zone for most people. It's really press it in. I do definitely prefer the texture of this to the old one. And then a little bit on my chin as well, and a little bit around the sides of my mouth. This is an area that moves quite a lot throughout the day. If you yapping, you want your makeup to stay put as well as possible. Basically, I just don't feel like I need that necessarily on my cheeks or around the rest of my forehead. Through the centre of my face where I might get a little bit more oily. And then just to add a bit of primer for the rest of the skin, we're going to go with the iconic Underglow Blurring Primer. I've only used this a few times, but I do really, really like it on the rest of my skin. This is gorgeous. It's really soft. It gives your skin a very diffused, soft finish. Just actually taking the time to really work the products in, really press them into the skin makes such a difference. We often mistake like the foundation as the base. Like this is the base. This is the building blocks of everything that will go over the top. And I've got a nice flat base. Everything's tailored to my skin. So in theory, everything should go over the top of this perfectly. Onto foundation. This will not be a surprise to anybody. I've spoken about this a million times, but this is the Kylie Cosmetics Power Plush Longwear Foundation. I wear the shade 4.5W. I've been wearing this for about a year now. This is my go-to foundation whenever shit is serious. It cannot be moving. This is who we go to. They have literally this week as well just launched a skin tint. I've been using this for a few days and I'm obsessed with it. So again, actually a mixture of those two would be gorgeous, but because we're going all out today, we're just going to go with this. I also washed all of my makeup brushes the other day. I've got 3 big pots of these and I washed all of them. I never want to use them though after I've washed them. I'm like, I just need you to stay that clean forever. As soon as I use them, I'm like, well, I'm going to have to fucking wash them again. A few pumps of this. Skin is actually really quite good at the moment. A little wobbly last week and had a few breakouts, but they've all kind of dried up and gone away. I literally love this little brush so much. This is from the e.l.f. Liquid Death collaboration, which I think was like last year. So random, but it's just such a good little foundation brush. Buffing that in. Actually love the finish of this foundation so much. It's almost like what I would describe as a velvet matte. It feels really soft on the skin. It doesn't feel drying. My go-to foundation for shoots as well. It looks amazing in pictures. I'm just going to keep it with the one layer. You can build this foundation really nice. It's like my perfect amount of coverage when I want to wear more of like a foundation. Day to day I'm more of a skin tint girl, but when I want like a full glam, this is the perfect amount of coverage for me. Onto concealer, another one of my absolute favourites. Again, no surprise, this is the NARS Creamy Concealer in the shade Light 2.6. And I'm going to build this up down the sides of my nose and the corners of my eye, just to add a bit of brightness and a little extra coverage in that area. My favourite concealer in the world. Like anytime I use anything else, I'm like, meh. Always just end up rebuying this. I must have had like 10 of these now. Any of the points of my face I want to highlight, so through the centre. Start buffing that in and leave my eyes till last. Give them a bit of time to marinate. I'm actually going to see Taylor Swift in like 3 days. And I'm definitely going to do this makeup. This is exactly what we need for like a crowd, a sweaty crowd in Wembley. And I'm sure I will be crying as well. I like to take a sponge for underneath my eyes and just start patting. And the trick is kind of to not overblend. I learnt this very much from Uche, who I'm just obsessed with. Her base is just always flawless and she says to not overblend, which makes a lot of sense. And before I set my makeup, I'm actually going to go with my bronzer. This is the liquid bronze from Beauty Bay in the shade Walnut. I have not put this down since I got it. I'm just obsessed with it. It's the best thing ever. You can actually use this over powder. I have used it once my makeup's set before and it still just seems to blend. Like, this formula is wild. I've never used anything that feels quite like this. Also just so easy to use. I think like this can be a little bit scary to people because it feels like you really need to know what you're doing, but honestly you don't. Nobody knows what they're doing. Start buffing that in. I actually use quite a fluffy brush with these. Honestly, whatever you use with them, they just seem to blend beautifully. My chin. These have that almost cream to powder finish. So like once they're on your skin, literally not moving anywhere. I never even set this with a powder bronzer over the top. I actually add a little bit more. I'm going to kind of concentrate that a little bit more, not diffuse it out quite so much. Ooh, I really like this brush. This is a Beauty Pie Pro Angled Contour and Cheek Brush. I like really love Beauty Pie. They're a brand that I'm really desperate for people to just like catch on to. I don't know if they're American or they're bigger in America and the UK is just like not catching on to them quite yet, but everything I've used from them is just stunning. I absolutely love them. I did actually see an advert for them the other day on the telly, so maybe they're coming on over. And I'm going to go back in with that sponge and just clean up anywhere that I want a little sharper. Blushes, I've actually got a few options, so I can either do the liquid blush from Beauty Bay, do the pair together. I've used this a million times, I know it works, I love it. Or I did see these this morning and I actually completely forgot to ever use these. These are new from Anastasia. They are the Blurring Serum Blushes. I've got the shade Plum, which for some reason is really speaking to me today, which I never ever wear a plum blush, so why I would start today, I don't know. Or we've got Hibiscus, which is like a warm summery thing. I swatched them on my hand and they were really nice, but I'm scared because I feel like I've perfected this makeup routine and this could ruin everything. But life is about trying new things. So I'm actually going to go in with a bit of Hibiscus. If it all goes wrong, we can just do this over the top anyway. So let's go with a bit of Hibiscus. I'm going to go on the back of my hand and then I'm just going to go straight in and see how it goes. Ooh, okay. Very pigmented. Whoa, buff that out a little bit. Ooh, actually really pretty. Definitely can see the serum sort of vibe to it. I do actually like that, but I am going to go in with a bit of this one as well. This is the shade Spring, and I'm just going to do that kind of over the top. They're actually not that dissimilar in shade. This one's just a little bit lighter. It's a little double blush moment. Seems to work better with like a flatter, denser brush, I would say, but the pigment is wild. So nice to use a blush that actually keeps its pigment when you put it on. The amount of times I try them on my hand and they look beautiful, and then I start blending them into my skin and I'm like, oh, okay. Goodbye. I definitely do need to try that Plum one at some point, but just not today. Just adding a little extra. I never ever know when to stop with blush. Yeah, I'm going to be setting under my eyes a little bit in a minute as well, so I always feel like that kind of brings it down a touch. So sometimes you have to add a bit more. When it comes to setting powder, again, we're going to go with a combination, different things for different parts of the face. I feel like what works for underneath my eyes doesn't necessarily work all over my face. So under my eyes, I've been obsessed with this powder. I've spoken about this a few times as well. This is the brand new one from Rare Beauty, the little toilet seat ones. This is the shade Porcelain, and oh my god, it's just stunning. I'm actually going to start out with the little powder puff it comes with. This is like the perfect shape and size for underneath your eye. And I'm just going to pat it down the side of my nose. Say I use this powder for where I put the Professional primer and the other one for everywhere else. That's probably the easiest way to explain that. Like, look at that. It still looks like my skin. It hasn't dried anything out. This also has that very like velvet skin finish, which I think is why it works so nicely with the Kylie foundation, because the textures are just so similar. No dryness, you know, it's a powder, but it doesn't feel like a dry powder. If you've been here since the beginning, you'll know I didn't even used to set my under eyes. Like, I didn't really use setting powder until a few years ago. Now that I do, I'm like, I don't know how I ever didn't set my makeup, but then taking a little bit of the Benefit Professional powder. I absolutely love this. This is a shade, I think we had this last time. I actually don't think they have shades. I think it's one, maybe. I like to use a big fluffy brush, take a bit, pat off the excess of it, and then just sweep that pretty much all over. This does smell like Nans, but in like a nice way, you know, like nice, friendly Nans. It's got that sort of scent to it. Do you think this and the setting spray that I'm going to use are like the ultimate secret to just snatching everything in? For sure, all of those products are amazing, but I always feel like there's one little step that you do and you're like, that's it. That's why it's so good. I don't love this underneath my eyes. I have used it under my eyes before, but I feel like the combination of this and the Rare Beauty one is just sensational. Okay, I'm actually going to grab a powder blush because I feel like I do need to go a little powder heavier today. Let's go with the NARS Orgasm Edge blush. Absolutely love this. This is kind of a powder version of the liquid blush from Beauty Bay, the spring shade. I got my brain literally just stopped working then. Need a little bit extra. I want to be quite blushy today, as I do every day. I also always think like a full glam, long-lasting base has to be really like snatched, contoured, all of that. Like it can literally still just look like your everyday makeup, but it just lasts longer. That's kind of what this is. Like it still looks like the makeup that I do with loads of creams and less powder. It just doesn't come off. There we go. That is a gorgeous base. I'm actually loving that. Kind of a matte girl now as well. I don't know if it's just because it's summer and I'm just so sick of like everything melting off my face, but I'm really liking a matte skin lately. I don't know. I don't know why. Okay, last thing for skin, I'm going to do my little freckles with the Nabla Freckle Maker. I always know the coverage is good when I can't actually see where they were anymore. Full matte base and then adding freckles over it is so hilarious and I'm just obsessed with it. Base is almost done. Last step, I'm going to go with the Vive Invisiveil Setting Spray. I absolutely love this. This is the spray I was talking about. I feel like it makes the biggest difference to my makeup. I'm actually not a massive setting spray girl just because I never notice a massive difference using them or not. But I did try this for the first time a few months ago. The biggest telltale for me was when I got my hair done and everyone was commenting, how is your makeup still on after getting your hair done? And I was like, actually, that is a fair point. And the only thing I'd use differently was this. It literally makes the biggest difference. When I saw Jamie, I was like, you need to advertise for this on the tube because I don't put this on and I get on the tube. I'm like, fuck, we're in troubled water. So I'm gonna use that all over. Just gonna do a few sprays of this. I need to decant this into like a mini bottle to keep on me because I do like to setting spray throughout the day as well. It just like remelts everything in and it's also very refreshing. Probably do a bit of this at the end as well, but I like to do it before I do my eyes just to really let everything melt in. Going on to eyes, I'm going to start with the Rare Beauty powder in the shade Porcelain and I'm going to use that all over my lid just to set everything in place. Loving like no eye makeup lately. There's this new girl that well, she's not a new girl. She's been a girl for a while. I'm obsessed with her recently, called Jackie Alexander. And she like always has the most beautiful makeup, like really blushy, no eye makeup. And she's just the most gorgeous thing ever. This with a nice lip is so good, but we're not gonna do that today. I've got 3 products here, which are my long lasting eye heroes. This is actually a brand new one from KVD. They have reformulated the tattoo liner, which is like internal scream for me. When I was first doing makeup, KVD was the brand that I was just beyond obsessed with. Like I actually applied for a job at Kat Von D like 3 times and they said no to me every time. And then I ended up being the face of the campaign a few years later. So swings and roundabouts, but I was obsessed with the tattoo liner. It was like my favorite thing. I used it every single day. I used to do like a full-on black wing every day. They have reformulated it and this is the shade Mad Max Brown. NARS High Pigment Longwear Liner in the shade Mambo, I believe it is. Yeah, Mambo. I'm obsessed with this. Baby winged liner. I'm going to start with the NARS one. I always like to start with a pencil. I just feel slightly more in control that way. Sometimes if I go straight in with a liquid liner, I'm like, okay, am I trying to ruin my day so early on? I love the colour of this as well. It's like a really rich, warm brown. If you've got greeny, bluey eyes, this is the one. And I can do a little messy wing on the outer corner. Or KJH Spectrum brush, number 18. Gonna smudge that out. I can actually feel how like set my base is because that is not smudging as much as it normally does, which I mean is good, but. And then I'm also gonna tight line with this. This is one of those steps that just makes the biggest difference to my makeup. As soon as I tight line, I just feel, ooh, a little bit of the tattoo liner and just sort of define it. This is like a really small thing, but it makes such a big difference. It's also just going to make it last that little bit longer. Going towards the outer corner, I'm not going to bring it in at all. It just feels more flattering on my eye shape. It kind of pulls everything out. I'm actually going shopping today and I'm really, really excited. I haven't had like a day in London where I haven't got too much to do in a while. I feel like every time I've been there recently, it's been like an event, another club, event, club. And it's not like, I haven't really had time to just like stroll about on my own and I'm really excited for it. Like a few things in mind that I kind of want to like try on / buy. Whenever I say I'm going to try something on, 9 times out of 10 I end up buying it. Something actually that I may try on and not buy is the Jacquemus double heels. Like they just live absolutely rent-free in my mind, and my sister's getting married the start of next year in Vegas and I just feel like they're the perfect Vegas cool bridesmaid shoe. I have found them online for a bit cheaper though, but I just need to try them on because I can't even visualize that on my or any foot. I don't think I've ever really seen anyone wear them. So I am going to go and try those on and see what I think, because there's like a leopard print and pink pair. I feel like Vegas, bridesmaid, so good. I have no idea what I'm wearing yet, but the shoes. And then I'm going to an event a bit later on, so I'm going to go up there early and have a stroll, do some shopping. I will be absolutely putting this makeup to the test. I'm like sweating already. Going on to mascara, this shit could survive a nuclear war. Sometimes I have to cleanse not once, not twice, but thrice to get this off. This is the YSL Lash Clash in Waterproof. I love Lash Clash anyway. It's up there, one of my favourite mascaras ever. And this is the waterproof version. It's waterproof and then some. I feel like waterproof is underplaying it. Like, it's oil proof, it's sweat proof, it's fireproof, I'm pretty sure. It's always my go-to when there's like any chance that my eyes will be smudgy, which is pretty much all the time, like hay fever season. Any time you potentially may be crying, which you never know when that may just happen out of the blue. Me, every time I open TikTok and I start crying at like dog videos, or actually at the moment my one that keeps making me cry is extremely niche. Olympic athletes running to their partner after they've won and The Alchemy playing. You need Lash Clash waterproof for that shit. It's the exact same formula as the original. I've tried waterproof versions of mascaras before and it's just not the same. But this does exactly the same and just does not move. But look at that. Okay, I'm just going to brush through my brows. I did dye them a few days ago, so they don't really need filling in or anything. So I was looking at all my lip liners and I was thinking, which is the longest lasting? It was a very close call between the new Fenty Beauty ones and the Hourglass. I feel like still this just takes the top prize for me. These are the Hourglass Shape and Sculpt lip liners. This is the shade Candid 5. It is getting a little short, which tells you how much I love it. The reason that this one for me is I've worn this to the dentist before. I've worn this to a hygienist appointment of all things, and it didn't move. And I did think this should be an advert for Hourglass. So we're going to go with that one today. I also love this shade. It's like almost a reddy nude. A bit warmer than some of the other nudes I wear. Also really creamy, but they set down so fast. Like even now, it's not really blending. Like, can you see that? In like seconds, it's already not really blending. If you want to blend them, you've got to work like immediately. But it does mean that they don't budge. So shade in the sides with that as well. I'm gonna take a brush and sort of lightly blend it as much as it will allow. And then I'm gonna go with MAC Kinda Sexy. This was one of like the first nude lipsticks I ever bought. This and Velvet Teddy were my like rotation, so I've kind of fallen back in love with it recently. It's like a little bit pinker than some of the other nudes I wear, but I feel like it just looks really pretty. I always feel quite pretty when I have this on. I'm gonna go with a little bit of gloss over the top. This is the Rhode Peptide Lip Tint in the shade Toast. To give me a little gloss. We're pretty matte everywhere else, so I also find something like this really good for when you're like out on a... It's quite a like attainable lip for me. It's not as serious as like lining, doing the matte thing, cleaning it up. Like if you just do a bit of lip liner in this when you're out, it's so quick and easy to like touch up on the go. And there we go. I think that is the finished makeup. I'm going to do a little extra Invisiveil for luck. And there we go. The time is now 9 AM. I will do my absolute best to check in with you later. Watch me never come back, but I will try really hard to remember to show you my makeup at the end of the day. And I'm filming this on my camera that does not have a flip screen, so if I'm not in it, I can only apologise. I feel like I'm in it. Time is now 4:30, so I've had makeup on for a while. A lot of running around London. I've been on the tube. It's so hot. I'm actually boiling, even in here. I had two really nice girls compliment me on my makeup as well, so if you want the compliments, if you want it to stay on. I've kind of got like a bit of a sunglass mark because I had sunglasses on. There's actually no way possibly on earth to avoid that, which is so annoying. That would be a hit on Dragon's Den if someone could figure that out. It's still on. I wanted to show you this. I have literally not touched up my lip liner. I've reapplied the gloss because obviously that came off. But the lip liner, everything that you can see on there is what we applied this morning at 8:30 in the morning. I don't know why people just don't talk about those lip liners. I think they're amazing. But yeah, I've touched up my lip gloss and that is it. The rest of the face is as it was left this morning. It's tried and tested. I actually feel like I'm melting in this car right now, so I feel myself like actually starting to sweat. Leather seats in the UK are a terrible idea because it's either so cold and you're like, ooh, or it's so hot and you're like, ooh, sticking to them. So as the makeup put to the ultimate test. That is my ultimate sweat-proof, gig-proof, London Underground-proof, summer-proof makeup. This is also really good for like weddings, events, anything that you're going to be photographed at and you just want your makeup to look flawless in every picture from every angle and all day. And there we go. That is the finished look for today's video. Thank you so much for watching this and thank you for being here as always. Everything that I've used will be linked in the description box down below. Hope you have a lovely rest of the day wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and I will see you very soon. Love you.